So UFC Shamil Gaziev versus Year-Rozenstruik, or Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. Let me correct myself. It just took place Saturday. This is the day after. I'm giving my honest thoughts, starting from the start of the card to the very end of the card. And just giving my honest thoughts in review. Gaziev versus Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi. I thought first of all, Gaziev is fucking huge. Absolutely gigantic for the division. It looked like a middleweight fighting a featherweight out there. But regardless, first round it looked like Al-Sawadi got dropped by something, and then looked like he almost got finished for a second. But Gaziev took round one. Al-Sawadi started to pick up the pace, really put it on him, got some takedowns in round two, controlled him, was landing good shots on him. I was impressed by the comeback in the second round. I thought, he was going to win the fight. And then in the third round, Gaziev just like wings a big right hook that lands, and it just puts Al-Sawadi out cold. The ref was yelling at one point for Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi to fight back when he was kind of just like lying there, fucking dead. It was like telling Stephen Hawking to just walk it off. Can't exactly do that. But good shit from Gaziev. He's a Mateusz Rebecki victim. And Mateusz Rebecki, the lightweight GOAT, greatest lightweight of all time. Yeah. Overall, fun fight. I didn't mind it too much. It was pretty good. And Ludovic Klein versus AJ Cunningham. Ludovic Klein is so fucking good. My God, is he good. He was originally supposed to fight Joel Alvarez, who is now fighting Mateusz Rebecki. And I was originally going to pick Joel Alvarez to beat Ludovic Klein, because Joel Alvarez is fucking huge, and he's actually got like really good striking and like really good like clean elbows, uppercuts. Like the guy Alvarez is good, but like after watching this Ludovic Klein performance, fuck dude, I would have probably gotten it wrong. Dude, Ludovic Klein he knows how to put his combinations together. He's got good entries on his takedowns. He was just piecing up Cunningham. Then again, Cunningham was also a featherweight. He fought Steven Nguyen on the Contender Series back in, I think, like August or September. And yeah, he's a featherweight who moved up to lightweight to take this. But man, Ludovic Klein was just putting it on him. He was not giving him an inch of room to work with. Then again, good shit on Cunningham. Cunningham brought the fight to him as well. He wasn't like shying away, just trying to survive. He was stepping into the fire, really trying to take Ludovic Klein's head off. But man, Ludovic Klein, I think early on, Klein realized, I can't knock this guy out cold with like a good right hook to the jaw. I'm going to have to just work his body. And he did work his body. And the last shot that really like put him out was a crazy good teep kick that just really dug in. It dug in so hard. It looked like it got up and under the rib. Like he was like, looked like he got so far up he was like tickling his heart with his toes. It's crazy. And then he just, poured it on. The ref stopped it. Good shit from Klein. Good boxing. Good everything. They say he's 5'7", and that Cunningham was like 5'11". That's bullshit. Ludovic Klein's at least like 5'10". I'm 5'10". The guy looks like he's taller than me. So, I don't know. I don't believe that. He's probably like 5'9" or 5'10". UFC needs to start getting fucking heights right. Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, both 6'4", and Pereira's clearly like 3 inches taller. Moving on. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Claudio Ribeiro. Claudio Ribera is just like not good. He's not very calculated. He just like kind of wings big shots, hoping he'll KO you. And he almost did it against Roman Kopylov in his last fight, but he got head kicked. But in this fight, he didn't even get like there wasn't even like a moment where he was like winning. Wasn't a single moment where he was winning. Duncan was just piecing him up, landing shots at will, chopping at the leg, jabbing his head off, 1-2s. And when Ribeiro would shell up against the fence, he would grab the guard, he would grab his arms, and then like step in with elbows. And he like in the second round he even decided to switch it up. Shot for a takedown, slammed Ribeiro, stepped into mount, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly. And he just poured it on Ribeiro. Ribeiro didn't do anything. Just laid there. Didn't try to fight back. And second round TKO for Christian Leroy Duncan. Really good performance. Maybe do Duncan versus Kopylov, actually. Duncan versus Kopylov might actually be a competitive and good fight. It'd be a good test for both. Moving on. Fuck Javid Basharat. Fuck Javid Basharat. Fuck you. You got mad. Fucking. Oh, well, how come I did not win the fight? 'Cause you didn't win the fight. Fuck you. You're a bitch. You got pieced the fuck up. Ayman Zahabi dropped the first round. Was getting, taking, little pitter-pat kicks, leg kicks, body kicks. Just kind of eating it. Couldn't really find anything. And then the second and third round, he was just, he was landing. It was pretty even in strikes the last 2 rounds, but when Basharat landed, you couldn't hear anything. And then when Zahabi landed, you could hear like a smack, like a clap. And I was like, whew, man. I thought Zahabi was about to KO him at one point, but he wasn't close, really. But regardless, it was a really good performance from Zahabi. He's able to piece him up. Zahabi's 36, so he's not going to be a champion. He's 36. Or maybe he does become champion. Who knows? Maybe this is the Zahabi title run. He's got Firas Zahabi. We all know what Firas Zahabi did. He got a George St. Pierre to being the GOAT, but then again, George St. Pierre was like 22. And Ayman Zahabi is 36. But who knows? Maybe Ayman Zahabi does enough to become the bantamweight GOAT. We'll never know. Moving on. This is the one that needs to be talked about. This is the one people need to know about. Vinicius. What? I'm just not looking at this right side. Like, Armin Petrosian fell ill backstage. Bobby Green defeats Grant Dawson. Like, this is like half a year ago. Regardless, Vinicius Oliveira fucking killed this guy. He like actually fucking like. So the first round, Vinicius Oliveira lost. He was getting outworked, outgrappled, outlanded. And I was like, holy shit, Vinicius Oliveira gets fraud checked by a guy making his debut. Yeah, Bernardo Sopaj took this on short notice in his debut. Wasn't on the Contender Series or anything. Was landing good crisp shots. He had a fight scheduled a week from then, on the 9th. So it was just like a week short. It was kind of just like he had a fight a week earlier, which was, a big opportunity for him. He did show some good skill, but Vinicius Oliveira showed that he was literally bigger, stronger, faster, and hit harder. And also, Vinicius Oliveira's freak athlete. God damn. Second round, kind of the same thing. Sopaj gets on top. At one point, it looks like the ref is about to stop the fight. End it, cut it out. And I would have been pissed. I would have been like, fuck, I got my pick wrong. But Oliveira defends himself. He reverses the position in the last, like, a minute and 30. And he just pours it on him. Pours it on Sopaj. And, you could have argued the round going to Sopaj. But I think the fact that he kind of just, like, sat there at the end of the round after after the bell rung, and he was just kind of like, he kind of like sat there for a bit, having to like really recompose himself as Oliveira just like stood up and walked to his corner. But the third round, it wasn't even close. Oliveira just landing big shots in him, chewing up the leg, just destroying him. And in like the final sequence in the last 30 seconds, Oliveira lands a nasty calf kick, followed up that spins Sopaj around, followed up by a left hook that like sends Sopaj like stumbling into the fence, and people probably think that the left hook rocked him, but it was the kick. He like couldn't walk on his leg. The kick hurt his leg. The kicks were hurting his leg so bad that he could not walk on his leg. So he was like stumbling over because his leg was hurting. And then Oliveira from the opposite side of the cage runs at him full speed. Sopaj is kind of like looking off, and then he looks at him and he kind of like tries to like he puts his kind of like hands in a weird spot and tries to defend it. I think he was so rocked, and like he was rocked. A lot of things were probably going through his head. Oliveira runs at him and flying knees, and it's like it was Bonfim versus McKenny-ish, except his kneecap, like the actual cap of his knee, the bone, the very tip of it hit at the peak of like, he basically got the maximum energy output into the cap of his knee, and it landed straight on Sopaj's chin, and it slumped him out cold. It was vicious. I thought he died in that octagon. I genuinely thought he died. Not really, but he went out cold. I honestly think it's already in contention for KO of the year. If there's nothing else that I think is better than that, then it's probably going to get KO of the year. It was incredible. Great. Eric Anders versus Jamie Pickett. I'm going to use the bathroom really quick. This is going to be like, we'll stop. You might hear like a little like cut type thing, but we're going to do that. I'm back. Right. So, Jamie Pickett versus Eric Anders. This was such a bad fight to watch. I really didn't even pay attention to it that much because it was just like not fun to watch. In the first round, Jamie Pickett dropped him. I was thinking, oh my god, this might be a finish. Jamie Pickett might get a finish in his retirement fight. And he might break his 4-fight losing streak. No, Eric Anders just shot another takedown. Took him down, controlled him for most of the fight. Yeah, just boring fight. I don't know why they're doing Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel. They probably should have done Eric Anders versus Bo Nickel. That fight probably would have been better. Or maybe like just someone else besides Cody Brundage. But this fight was like a little bit, it was just boring. It was just boring. Not really fun. Nothing really interesting happened. Just, it was a fight. Their records changed. Moving on to the next one. But really quickly, let me look at this. Oh, yeah, you just click highlights and it'll take you to the flying knee. Fuck, that was crazy. Steve Erceg versus Matt Schnell. Steve Erceg got fucking hands, bruh. Steve Erceg can fucking box. He could throw hands, and he got heat. Well, maybe he has heat, but I don't know. Maybe Matt Schnell has just, like, regained his chin, because at one point, Schnell got his head, like, whipped around by a straight right in the first round that he, like, stumbled back on, and then was able to, and then in the next exchange, he fucking, like, landed a 3-punch combination on Erceg. But, it was a good fight. It was actually a good test for Steve Erceg, and it showed that Matt Schnell does have some skills. Erceg fucking slept him with a good left hook in the second round. He He threw a right hand to the body, and then a left hook up top that just went straight around Chanel's guard. And the thing is, like, Chanel had a pretty good tight guard the entire time. People probably will disagree because he got knocked out, but, you know, even then, Chanel had his right hand, like, glued to his face when the left hand took him out. And it just, like, whipped around the guard, landed right on the chin, and it slumped Chanel out cold. Put Chanel out cold. It's fucking brutal knockout. Chanel has no chin. Maybe. I don't know. Chanel has good boxing, though. And I don't know. Maybe. Can we give Chanel someone with pillow hands? We need to give Chanel someone with pillow hands next. So that way he doesn't, like, die. Because I like Chanel. He's good style, good boxing. Entertaining fighter. But a great win from Steve Erceg. I'd like to see Steve Erceg versus, like, an Alex Perez next. Give Steve Erceg someone, like, top 5. Maybe. No, Steve Erceg called out Brandon Moreno. Maybe we do Moreno versus Erceg. Maybe that's the next Fight Night main event. After a knockout like this, that kind of puts people on notice. You don't just slump someone out cold like that. Sumu Darji landed fucking clean elbows on Chanel when Chanel walked into the elbows and then put Chanel out cold. Mateus Nicolau didn't even put Chanel out cold. So, maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe do Erceg versus Mateus Nicolau. Maybe do Erceg versus Brandon Moreno. I'd like to see those next. I don't want to see any of the up-and-coming light or featherweights fight each other right now, because right now it's a lot of rematches. It's a lot of rematches. So I don't want to see them fight each other, so that way it's like, I wouldn't want to see a Tyra versus Erceg or a Tyra versus Makayev just yet. Because I want them to get to the top, so they have that chance to, you know, so it's not all just fucking rematches. And it's not all just like watching, oh, are you guys ready for Pantoja versus Roy Val 62? He has 138 wins against both of the Morenos because they just keep giving him title shots because they're just still in the top 5. They're still in the top 3. I want to see more flyweights. More newer, better flyweights. And, but great performance from Erceg. Good shit. Moving on. Beksat Almakhan and Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar is just fucking way bigger than this guy. Way bigger. It was very clear from the start. But again, Umar is also very good. You can see it right here. Beksat dropped Umar in the first 30 seconds. In the first exchange, he dropped him. And then he got taken down by a single leg and got controlled and dominated for the rest of the round and the rest of the fight. Yeah. But, you know, Beksat showed some skills. He has good striking. He's a bit wild. I think maybe it's the fact that, you know, he's facing a fucker with the last name Nurmagomedov. He's facing someone with the last name Nurmagomedov, who's bigger than him, who's ranked. It's his debut. He was kind of swinging wild. Umar got some really good, like, takedowns, setups. He landed a good jab. He would land a good jab, and then Beksat would, like, swing wildly to try to counter, and then he would duck under and get, like, a double leg, get him down real easy, control him. But, Beksat had some moments where he could literally just explode and get right up from Umar mounting him. He would literally just turn the entire position upside down and could get back to his feet. I was very impressed. He got dominated, yes, but he showed skills, and I was impressed. But he's very skinny, and he's very small. Maybe Bekzat could move down to flyweight. Because I think he could shit on a lot of the flyweights that are, currently there. But, Bekzat, great addition to the UFC. I think he could do big things if he stays at bantamweight or moves down to flyweight. I think he could do big things. Moving on. Muhammad Mokaev versus Alex Perez. Yucky, gross, boring. Fuck Muhammad Mokaev. He's shit. Third round Mokaev couldn't even pull it off against Perez. He couldn't even finish Perez. Perez has been out for a year and a half, and he's fucking had like 16 different billion surgeries. And he had like fucking I don't know. I'm just like at a loss for words of how fucking awful Muhammad Mokaev is. And it's somehow like every time that Mokaev has like a bad performance, he's always sick. He showed a picture of Shamil Gaziev's bloody liver like destroyed shit that he shat in the toilet, and he was like, I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'm gonna say I threw up in this toilet. Guaranteed he nearly passed out being near that, and I guarantee it was Shamil Gaziev's toilet. Took a fucking fat shit. And Mokaev was, yes brother, yes, let me take picture, my excuse for my bad performance. Okay, nerd. But just not the greatest performance. He kept going for takedowns that he wasn't getting. If knees to a grounded opponent were allowed, Perez would have fucking obliterated Mokaev. Elliott would have obliterated Mokaev. Filo, everybody Mokaev has fought would have beat him if knees to a grounded opponent were allowed. But there's a point in the fight where he didn't even shoot for a takedown. He just like did a squat and then just like gave up a front headlock position in the third round. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You are a top 10 UFC flyweight. You are undefeated. How are you undefeated? This guy is like the Dricus du Plessis of flyweight. Except he's not showing how he somehow hasn't lost yet. At least when Dricus beat Whitaker, it was like, okay, well, I can see why this guy has been winning so much now. I still don't understand how Mokaev has been winning these fights. How? He's shit. He's fucking 10 times bigger than everybody. He can't control anybody. He shot for 20 takedowns and he got 3. And he almost got out-controlled by Perez. How? It's just wild to me. I don't know why, but he wants a title shot. No, you do not get one. You get Brandon Royval. You get Brandon Royval next. Just Jesus fucking Christ, it was just like a cancer to watch. It was absolutely cancer to watch. And he would be like winning exchanges on the feet, and he's just like, oh, let me do a squat, hoping that I can get a good takedown off of it. And then he gets just stuck in front headlock position. I don't know. Petition to get knees to grounded opponents legalized, so that way I can see Mokaev get his fucking face bashed in by Royval's knees. But then again, he's probably already going to get his face bashed in by a knee, because Royval will just randomly throw a knee up the middle that nobody expects, so they get fucking obliterated. Whatever. Bad fight. Moving on. Tyson Pedro versus Vitor Petrino. Boring fight. It was a bit boring. Bit slow-paced. Tyson Pedro lost and retired off of this. It was actually a bit sad. Talked about how he's like struggling financially, how he misses his daughter. He's literally like, yeah, so I might have to go rub a car to this. Which one of you's got the most money on you? He like laughed nervously. Fucking you know he was like crying inside. He was like, I'm broke. Just tragic to see, especially after his celebration after knocking out Anton Turkalj, which was really good celebration, really fun fight. It's just sad to see, you know. But Vitor Petrino landed the better, harder shots in the first 2 rounds. First 2 rounds could have gone either way, honestly. But I think since Vitor Petrino in the first landed some good stiff jabs, he landed the harder shots, got the bigger reactions out of the shots. You know, threw the shots that made a louder sound. And then in the third kind of took down and dominated Pedro on the ground. It was just a boring performance, but it showed that Petrino can. It showed that Petrino is willing to do what needed to be done. Boring fight, but you know, there's gonna be no petition to wipe Petrino off the planet, unlike Makhachev, because Petrino knows how to actually do stuff other than drop down to a squat and hope that someone runs into a takedown. Good performance from Petrino, but boring. God, I hate Muhammad Makhachev. Sad for Tyson Pedro. You know, sad to hear about his struggles. He said his dreams have changed. He doesn't feel the same about the sport anymore. He like misses his kids. It's just sad to see. Sad to see. Maybe he becomes a good coach in the future, opens up a gym, becomes a good coach. I'd train at Tyson Pedro's gym. I'd learn how to do sick-ass celebrations like that on the fly. But, no, it's just sad to see. Good win for Petrino. This is the one that brought me unimaginable joy. Year-Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. Year-Rozenstruik makes Shamil Gaziev quit by breaking his fat roll. And in the process of breaking his fat roll, the fat roll, the spears of condensed and rock solid fat in his body, it stabbed into his spleen. But after it stabbed through his spleen, it fractured and hit his nerves and his spine. And it cut just the right one to make him not be able to see. And I'm joking. He's fat and he had a cardiac arrest mid-fight. He literally he forgot to take his insulin shot before the beginning of the 3rd round. And he's sitting in his corner. I'm watching this live, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, like, it's going into the 5th round, and he's just sitting, and he's like arguing with his corner, and I'm like, this guy looks like he's about to fucking cry. He looked like he was about to cry. He looked in shambles, like you're gonna. Oh, hey, here's the Ludovit Klein. Oh my God, he's so good. He's so good. Oh, he's so good. But Gaziev looked like he was about to cry going into that 5th round. Luckily, he didn't go into that 5th round because I didn't want to see a man fucking wilt and fucking cry. I didn't want to see his mouthpiece dangle out of his mouth any longer. It was fucking hard to watch. But round by round, first round, Gaziev starts fast, throwing. His first takedown, he like rams his head into the cage. I'm convinced he doesn't know how to wrestle. But it makes sense because he's Bahrainian. He's not Dagestani. He's from Bahrain. And can you guess what his base for MMA is? I can tell you one thing. It's not... Look at him. Look at him. He's fucking crying. He's arguing with his corner right here. He's fucking arguing with... Please, don't make me go out there. I haven't taken my insulin today. Fucking Christ. Yeah, he comes from a... He comes from a fucking volleyball base. His MMA base is volleyball. And listen, I like volleyball. It's a fun sport. It is clearly shown here. Volleyball is not the best base for MMA. And neither is being fat and having a beard. The first round, he like shoots takedowns. Doesn't look natural to him at all. It doesn't look like he knows how to wrestle. He gets a takedown in the first round and does start, landing some good shots on the ground. I gave Gaziev the first round. But rounds 2, 3, and 4, it was all Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik was just peppering him up with the jab, chopping at the leg, peppering him up with the jab. By beginning of the second round, walking up to the center, just has him all tired out. Fucking, his fucking mouthpiece hanging out. Oh, here's Matt Chanel's KO. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this. Fuck, that was brutal. But his like mouthpiece is dangling out of his mouth. He's huffing and puffing and stuffing and duffing. Go to the kitchen and made me a sandwich. He was desperately trying to get to that kitchen to make himself a sandwich so he could have enough energy to finish that 5th round. But 2nd through 4th, he was just fucking tired. He didn't know what he was doing. Rozenstruik had actually pretty decent cardio. I mean, Rozenstruik is also kind of fat, but I didn't think he'd have that good of cardio. So good shit on Rozenstruik, actually. Good performance from him. It's gonna show us Vinicius Oliveira's in a second. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this, but I'm gonna show it anyways, because it's not my fault. It's the ESPN page. Oh look, there's the leg kick right hand. Oh my fucking Christ, that is brutal. Gaziev's just fat. Stop giving these fucking Dagestani fighters who get one good win in their debut. Stop giving them fucking top 10 opponents. They don't deserve it. In the 4th round, Rozenstruik started fucking piecing together combinations, throwing big heavy shots. Literally every big heavy shot he threw landed. I don't know why. I mean, Gaziev has a good shin, but maybe there's nothing there to be rattled besides fucking angel food cake. I don't know what it's called. Dude, Gaziev's just he's so fat. He's just fat. He's just a fat, unathletic heavyweight with no cardio. And Year-Rozenstruik was a fat, athletic heavyweight with good cardio and good striking. I'm so glad I picked Rozenstruik. I'm so glad. Oh yeah, let me go to give my picks round by round. I picked Al-Sawadi. In this fight, I had, when it was Alvarez versus Klein, I had Alvarez, but after seeing it change, I picked Klein. I had CLD. I picked Basharat. I picked Basharat in this fight. I had Vinicius Oliveira. I didn't bet on this fight because they're both shit. In this one, I had Urseg. This one, I had Umar. I had actually Alex Perez in this fight, and Perez almost did do it well. I had Petrino in this fight, and I had Rozenstruik in the main event, and I'm glad I did, because Gaziev's fat, and he's fucking unathletic, he's slow, and I hate him. I don't hate him. I don't hate him, actually. But it's just... I don't care if they're from the Caucasus region. I don't want to see them in a main event. Nobody knows who they are just because they have the last name V. And just because they see that, and I guarantee anyone who picked Gaziev saw it just because they picked the beard, just because they saw that he had a beard. Rozenstruik was the better fighter all along. It was very clear that he was. So I don't know why people picked Gaziev. I don't know. But that's my reaction to the card. Not a bad fight night card, honestly. Not a bad fight night card. The main event wasn't terrible. I liked watching Rozenstruik just like bank Gaziev's head back. Umar and Bekzat was a bit underwhelming. I thought Bekzat was going to do better with the takedown defense, but, you know, still, no. He did surprisingly well despite what the stats may show and how the fight may look. I think he did not half bad. Makhachev versus Perez, a lot worse than I thought. Every other card, every other fight was actually really good. Overall, if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say a 7 out of 10 card. Good 7 out of 10 card. In terms of the main event, about a 6 out of 10 in terms of main event. Was it terrible? Would I go back and rewatch it ever? No. But it was an enjoyable fight, and I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was good from Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik versus Derek Lewis. Book it now. The same person. Don't care what you say. But that's about it. Peace.